Hey folks, I'm back. This is part two of the consciousness thing. Yeah, I don't have a shirt on. I got pants on, I promise. I'm following the example of Bert Kreischer. You know how he goes on stage without a shirt on. He's a comedian. Feels good. It's hot in here, so got my fan in the background, and I got my curtains. Very professional. It's how we be differently. No, but let's get into it. We're going to look at the video of Joshua's video about consciousness, Alice Bailey quotes. The Development of Consciousness, Exploring Alice A. Bailey quotes. And I got a video one. You should be able to find it in here somewhere in my YouTube channel. Hopefully it'll be easy to find. And if you can't find it, just message me. Or go to Joshua's Magic, look it up there. Okay, here we go. So we're taking notes. Talked about esoteric training, talked about he's talking about the occult and mystical. There's between the occult, mystical, emotional, something. Said it, and I don't get it, but occult, the mystical is like dual, mystical emotional is dual, but occult is like something different. Maybe it's like duality versus like oneness, I don't know. Anyways, this is a reaction video to it, by the way. Hope you can hear me. I have the AC going. I'm gonna shut that off. But do you want to see my belly? Probably not. So Batman back. I don't know if you can hear me or not. And that's just, it finally cooled off in here. Maybe I'll put a shirt on. Ooh. You almost saw my boob. It's hot again. Dang it. My apartment sucks, guys. Guess we can go over there. You can watch. I just don't know if you can hear me or not. I don't want to make this again. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over here. You can see my messy place. You can't see. I'm going to go over here. How bad is that background? Yeah, my house is a mess. What can I say? And I don't care. We're just going to roll with it. Roll with it. That's how I be. Ugh. Okay, we plug in my laptop so it don't die on us. You know what I'm saying? Using the old MacBook. The MacBook, folks. That's right, it's the MacBook. This episode is brought to you by a MacBook. Get your MacBook. Only $150. 2017 MacBook. That's right, MacBook. Swear it's that. Okay. Let me go get my notes. And my phone. And here we go. I need a pillow for my knees. I don't have a desk yet. If you want to donate a desk to me, let me know. I'd love it. I'll give you a shout out on the YouTube video. I don't know. I'll give you $1 million. $1 million doll hairs, that is. Sucker. Okay, all right, let's get serious. Esoteric training. So definitely gonna look at what esoteric really means, do a deep dive into that, because I'm not really sure what that means. Heard it a million times. Gosh dang, I'm so uncomfortable. Sorry, guys. My belt pushing my belly, so I gotta take it off my belt. I can relax a little bit. Yeah. Forgive me, guys. Okay, Aaron, wasting his time. 4 minutes in it and still haven't done the jack. Or whatever we're in it. I don't know. We're in it. Okay. Okay, guys, here we go. All right. Sorry, I don't want to see my boobies. Okay. Hope you can hear me. But anyways, it's not even freaking, it's like hotter than Hades in here. Sucks. I'm gonna go back to where I was because it's probably the same sound and forget it. If you can't hear me, you can't hear me. Whatever. Okay, hold on, folks. Let's do this one more time. Ugh. I'm gonna keep this in the video. Probably. Son of a biscuit. I should take off my pants now because it's so freaking hot in here. Don't worry, I won't do anything. I promise. You won't see anything. If you do, then I won't show this video. I'm not that crazy. All right, get my freaking notes. Yeah, it's much better that it's blowing on me now. Like I actually feel like a normal human being, not some sweatshop worker or something. For sweatshop workers. Okay, here we go.
Most religions. And if you focus on those, you can see the underlying unity. But if you're focusing on the things that separate, you're gonna be lost in the weeds. Oh, they say don't drink, and they say it's okay to drink, so it's not the same thing, and they worship different gods. That's not the way to look at things.
Yeah, it's stupid.
From a more occult or mental perspective.
Yes, it is stupid. There's Joshua over there, by the way.
And this instructions he gave out hopefully highlight some of the underlying truths of development of consciousness within disciples or aspirants, so that you can reach that level of consciousness of greater unity. So we'll move on to the next quote. And if you're enjoying this, please leave a like on the video and consider sharing it. This one is on Minds because it gives more room to post stuff than Instagram. Occidental science is coming gradually to the...
Okay, I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing, but I have my little like YouTube or Zoom screen, and I'm moving it around the screen. So I was like circling around Joshua's head. And that's why I was giggling. Okay, ouch! Dang it. Hit my knee on my belt. Ow! Damn. Okay. Teach us, Joshua. Wonder if that looks good. Hold on. The illusions. Oh, wait, I gotta do this, Aaron. All right, crying out loud, quit goofing off. Here we go. Whoops.
The conclusion, the esoteric philosophy of the East, that consciousness must be predicated not only of the animal and of the human being, but that it must be recognized also as extending through the vegetable into the mineral kingdom, and that self-consciousness must be regarded as the consummation, the evolutionary growth of consciousness in the three lower kingdoms. It is not possible in the short time now at my disposal to go into the most fascinating study of the development of consciousness in the animal kingdom, in the vegetable kingdom.
Okay, I'm gonna go get a drink, so hold on, folks. Oh. Ugh. Okay, I'm back. This part of the show is brought to you by Splash. Ladies and gentlemen, Splash. Lemon flavor. Splash Refresher. I think of Norm McDonald. Guys, if you're into crude comedy, you should watch Norm McDonald. It's crude, okay? So if you got a sense of humor like I do, then he does this thing with it's the best ones back in 2012. He does a thing with Adam Egert, Norm Macdonald Live. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. He had this sponsor called Man Great. He's always Man Great. And it's crude, so I'm not gonna go into jokes, but just stupid. So I like that type of comedy. The crudeness, it's crude is crude. I don't like it that much. When I'm really depressed, I like it because it's like sensational for some reason. I know I'm weird. I definitely like the whole idea, like splash. It's Splash, folks. The lemon refresher. 0 calories. All right. Let's get back into it.
and its appearance also in the mineral kingdom. We should we do so, that even minerals show symptoms of an awareness of reaction to stimuli, that they manifest signs of fatigue, and that it is possible to poison a mineral and to murder it. Much as you can murder a human being, the fact that flowers have consciousness is being more readily recognized, and articles of a very deep interest have been published on the consciousness of plants, opening up a very wide range of thought. We have seen in the atomic matter
Remember, this
that
is the
the only thing that
1920s.
we can safely
Okay?
predict is that it shows intelligence,
Like early
power
19th
to
century
select,
or 20th
the
century.
power to discriminate. This is the predominant feature of the consciousness as it manifests through the mineral kingdom. In the vegetable kingdom, another quality appears, that of sensation or feeling of a rudimentary nature. It is responsiveness in a different way to the mineral. In the animal kingdom, a third reaction appears. Not only is the animal showing signs of sensation in greatly increased degree to the similar response in the vegetable kingdom, but it also shows signs of intellect or embryo mind. Instinct is recognized in the faculty of all animal units, and the world comes from the same root of the word instigate. When the power to instigate begins within any animal form, it is a sign that an embryo mentality is beginning to manifest. In all these kingdoms, you have different grades and types of consciousness.
I don't know if they knew about DNA back then. They were kind of just barely, it's like the atoms, they're learning about, subatomic particles, Einstein, right? The nuclear bomb wasn't invented yet or discovered, but quantum physics was starting, right? Einstein, Faraday, not Faraday, Planck, all those fellers. So it's a new way of seeing things,
Showing themselves. Whilst in man, you have the first symptoms of self-consciousness, or the faculty in man whereby he becomes aware that he is a separated identity, that he is the indwelling impulse within the body, and the one who is in the process of becoming aware by means of these bodies. It has been long taught in the East, and esoteric philosophy teaches everything lives and is conscious, but that not all life and consciousness is similar to the human. And it also emphasizes the fact that vast intervals exist between the consciousness of the atom and of the flower, between the flower and man, and between that of a man and a god. As Browning has said, in man begins anew a tendency to God. He is not a god yet, but a god in the making. He
Ooh, I
is
like
working
that.
out.
Yeah, my church, the true church, as they say. And I believe Jesus tells me it's true, so got to go with it, even though it's flawed. My true church, Jesus's true church, says that I can become a God someday. And a lot of Christians don't like that, but it makes sense, you know. A father wants, like, I'm a dad. I don't want my kids to be kids forever. I want them to be, I mean, I love them. They're so cute and stuff, but I want them to be like their best selves. I want them to be like me, you know, they want to be like me. So that's a really cool relationship. So I really like that belief system in my theology. I really dig that. Yeah, we can become gods, you know, and it's infinite in every directions. Be differently project. We talk about you. Well, I used to say that, say you are gods, but it offended so many people. I'm not a god. How dare you? So I believe you are gods and you're infinite with infinite possibilities. That's what Be Differently teaches. Um, and the truth is, everything's infinite in every direction. This moment's infinite in every direction. The next moment's infinite in every direction. You know, it's a giant matrix, energy field of the universe. There's infinite potential, infinite possibility. Anything's possible. I mean, really anything. Now, of course, this matrix we're in has limits. My flesh has limits, right? But you are an infinite creature. You've always existed. You will always exist. Okay, you are God in that sense, right? And I believe it. Now, this is how I reconcile this with my theology. My theology tells me there's a heavenly Father and a heavenly Mother. I believe that there's a being, and I don't know all this stuff. Obviously, this is my best sacred guess. So that's what's so important. That's how we stay away from, like, you know, contention or conflict. As we say, this is my best sacred guess. My best sacred guess is this is the one and only true church upon the whole living earth. That's my best sacred guess, you know, because that's what Jesus tells me in my heart, right? I want to learn about your best sacred guess. You know what I'm saying? And I respect your best sacred guess, right? Anyways, I'm probably gonna get back into it because I'm getting carried away here. But yeah, there's some stuff about Be Differently Project and kind of how my views of the world. Okay.
The image of God and will someday produce it in perfection. He is the one who is seeking to demonstrate subjective divine threefold life through the medium of the objective. The method of evolutionary development of consciousness in the human being is but a repetition on a higher turn of the spiral of those two stages which we noted in the evolution of the atom, that of atomic energy and of group coherence.
Oh, cool.
In the world at present can be seen the
It comes from the
human
consciousness of
family,
the atom. That's the book I
atomic
listened
stage
to.
of manifestation, leading to the goal not yet achieved, the group stage.
Yeah, it's like these words.
So-
I was like, huh?
This is exploring,
What's she
obviously, the consciousness of the lower kingdoms, and they have consciousness
Oh,
just the way we do.
so lower kingdoms, is that like, I've looked at chakras? Is that like the lower chakras? You know, you got your root, you got your three lower chakras below your heart, and that's kind of like where your instincts are, where tribalism exists, where like control dramas exist, those kind of things. Then the higher kingdoms where you have unity, interdependence. Lower kingdoms, you're learning how to become dependent or independent. Like as a child goes through puberty, they learn how to become themselves. They have to learn how to detach from their parents and stuff, and have their own thoughts and stuff. So you got to kind of go through that evolution, and then you get to the heart chakra, which is kind of cool because that's where Jesus, and that's where the kingdom of heaven Jesus taught. That's kind of where the place where love comes from and all that, right? Then you start to go to the higher chakras. You got your heart, and you got your throat, third eye, and then crown. And that's kind of where you're learning how to connect with and be aware of your connection with others, and how to communicate, how to be noble and good citizen, you know, a virtuous person. And you can, you know, you're independent, but you also are connected in a, but you also have your, you know, you set your boundaries. You can, you know, you know how to harmonize with others, get along with others, but without losing yourself in the process, right? That kind of stuff.
Do, but not the same kind of consciousness that we do. So there are no truly dead or inanimate objects. Everything has some form of consciousness.
I believe that.
even
Oh
if
yeah.
it's,
Everything's
very
energy.
different from what we would normally consider.
It's all just energy wave. Whether it manifests as a rock or, you know, an inanimate object, it's still living, it's still consciousness. Everything is consciousness. That's another way to say everything's energy, everything is consciousness. That's where you see these guys that have these massive mystical awakenings where they realize that they are God. You ever see people say that I am God, I am the universe. And of course you are. That's why you're infinite with infinite possibilities, but you're also a separate entity. You're going through this journey. We're separate pieces of God, but we're also all connected. So we all are God. We all are the universe. It's just a matter of where our consciousness level is, right? That's how I see it.
And there's an interesting part here about the stages of consciousness and how humans are kind of in the individual atomized stage now, and the next stage is group consciousness. And I think one of the major leaps forward in that is this idea that J.J. Dewey's talked about of the molecular relationship. And it's basically humans coming together as if you take the idea of humans as atoms, and they come together the same way atoms come together to form molecules. And so the next stage in human evolution is this forming of the human molecule. But the glue that holds that together is the soul. And so if you're able to develop a sufficient soul consciousness and you can see eye to eye with your fellows, you can begin the work of creating this sort of spiritual human molecule.
Oh, I love that so much, Joshua. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's kind of where I feel called to build Zion. And that's where I have a lot of energies. I'm learning how to get myself in the higher places, and I believe Jesus is guiding me through all that. I call it Jesus, this cosmic force. And yeah. And I really look forward. That's cool. That's kind of confirms where my intuition's telling me. I'm like, is this more just crazy dreamland, subconscious, resolving it, or is there real truth to this? I think there's real truth to it too, but I believe that what's going to happen is as we level up and get to these, however he worded it, then the power of God will start to flow through us, and we'll start to do, these mystical, magical things that we call magic now actually will really happen. And this is probably how the ancients built the pyramids and stuff, because they could manifest things. He can literally manifest, like how Jesus did his miracles, We can manifest stuff. Is that a sacred cow? Did I strike a nerve? It struck a little nerve in me. That's why I said that. But that's, I'm playing with it, figure it out. I don't know. Best sacred guess, dog. Get off my back, dude. Come on. Okay, get back at it.
But if you're interested in that, I'll put a link in the description for you guys to check it out. There's not one now, but after the video,
body's
will be there. So we will move on to the next quote. We pass through a long period or cycles of many lives wherein we identify ourselves with the form and are so one with the not self that we recognize no difference. The not self meaning the personality, the self being the soul. That's how it's referred to here. Wherein we identify ourselves with the form and are so one with the not self that we recognize no difference, being entirely occupied with things that are transient and impermanent. It is this identification with the not self which leads to all pain, dissatisfaction, and sorrow in the world. And yet we must remember that through this reaction of the self to the not self, the higher to the lower, or the indwelling consciousness to the outer form,
can I say that Alice Bailey was
we inevitably learn and finally break loose from the impermanent and the unreal.
She had some.
The cycle of identification with the unreal parallels the stage of individual consciousness. As the atom of substance has to find its way into some form and add its quote of vitality to a greater unit, so through the evolutionary development of consciousness, the human atom has likewise to reach a point wherein it recognizes its place in the greater whole and shoulders its responsibility in group activity. This is the stage which a great number of the human family are now approaching. Men are realizing, as never before, the difference between the real and the unreal, between the permanent and the impermanent. Through pain, suffering, they are awakening to the recognition that the not self suffices.
I don't know all the history, but I do know, obviously we had the hippie movement in the 50s, well, the late 50s, or actually the 60s, beatnik movement in the 50s, right? People really revolted. We got more into like, this kind of stuff, right? Left the churches, left the country, hippies building communes, stuff like that, right? And so we are shifting there. I think of that as like the third great awakening of America. Second great awakening was when my church was founded, Joseph Smith. Jehovah's Witnesses came around, Seventh-day Adventists. And the first great awakening, I don't know anything about that. That's like 100 years before, 80 years before. So it's typically this pattern of 80 years, but I think the pattern's extending now because our lives are longer. So there's just this pattern. This comes from Fourth Turning book, this idea. But anyways, it's kind of fun because we do this. I hang out with these guys that do the Jesus world building, and they're turning rock songs into hymns. We'll say hymns into plowshares, which I don't know why. Which actually that's the opposite, because hymns can be kind of stifling, and they can be swords. Go to church, you sinner. And it's like, this is like, oh, that's interesting. So my soul told me hymns into plowshares. So the hymn, which is supposed to help us, actually holds us down. Look at Nietzsche. God is dead, and the pastor killed him. Anyways, hymns into plowshares. So we're turning into something that's like actually peaceful. So we actually have been turning rock songs into hymns using the rock song tunes. And it's really been cool because it's just a fun little project that we've been doing with Jesus, with our soul in parallel to this type of maybe Bailey would call it the soul is requiring us to do this, and we're kind of grouped together. There's about 6 of us play around, so we're kind of making our own little group. I also want to talk about the whole like creating new elements. Yeah, it is. That's so true, because when enough people I really believe this, feel this. When enough people get together and everything kind of lines up, all of a sudden like a whole new manifestation comes into place. Like if I want to create this fan through thought, I have to get like 17 people together, and we all like, ESP in it, but ESP use some sort of those ESP skills, and all of a sudden, whoa, a fan just appeared. I don't know. I definitely don't know how to do that stuff, but I believe it. And there's a method. It's not just some magic. It's actually freaking real. Of course, it is magic. MAGICK. Don't forget the K. All right. We got a ways to go. I'm going to try to. I might have to end this here because I'm got to do other things today. Yeah, watch the rest of the video. Let me know what you think. It's funny. I've done like 3 of these now. I haven't posted any of them, so I don't know if I'll post this one first or whatever. But I always go like partway through the video and I'm like, okay, I'm done. That's how my consciousness be rolling. That's how my soul is. But yeah, these things are very valuable for me. So thank you, Joshua, and thank you, Alice A. Bailey. This stuff helps me to understand things. Don't know all the words, but I know it's good, man. I like it. We'll listen a little bit more, and then I'll probably just let it go here next few minutes.
It's not. And they are searching without and also within for that which will more adequately meet their needs. Men are seeking to understand themselves, to find the kingdom of God within themselves, and through mental science, new thought, and the study of psychology, they will arrive at certain realizations which will prove invaluable to the human race. The indication is therefore to be found that the form stage is rapidly approaching, and that men are passing out of the atomic period into something infinitely better and greater. Man is beginning to sense the vibration of that greater life within whose body he is but an atom. And he is commencing in a small way to make his conscious response to that greater call, and to find possible channels whereby he can understand that greater life, which he senses but as yet does not know. If he persists in this, he will find the group to which he belongs, and will then change his center. No longer will he be limited by his own little atomic wall, but will pass beyond it and become in his turn a conscious, active, and intelligent part of the greater whole. So Alice A. Bailey doesn't talk about the molecular relationship. That was a later teaching put out there by J.J. Dewey, but she very much parallels a lot of it. That you're supposed to get from the individual consciousness to find spiritually the group that you're meant to be a part of, and that the soul's focus is usually on the group and not on the individual per se. So when the soul guides you in certain directions, it's always for a greater purpose. It's not just that it's good for you, and if it is good for you, it's part of the development of yourself to be good for the greater whole. You see?
Amen.
And so that's the trend of human evolution and the new age is to move into groups and to be able to work in groups. And there's a difference between group focus and sort of mass focus. So group focus is a kind of superseding of the individual. Well, mass focus is kind of below the level of individual consciousness. Like what we call groupthink isn't really group in the sense that Alice Bailey or the Tibetan refers to it. That's kind of lower than the individual self, where you're just sort of blindly going along with what other people think. So that needs to be differentiated, because the true group is,
Did he say be different?
To some degree, conditioned by the soul.
Be different. He said it.
And that soul quality expresses through the soul. True group is to some degree conditioned by the soul. So that needs to be differentiated, because the true group is to some degree conditioned by the soul. And that soul quality expresses through the group. She even says that the masters of their ashram don't see themselves, they see the ashram as a living organism.
Yes, I
which
love
again
that.
goes back to this concept of the molecular relationship.
Yeah, living
But
organism.
the master himself doesn't see himself as the leader per se, but more as the
Yes,
focus
there's no leader.
of the energy.
That's
Which is
science.
kind of, but
Hierarchies.
that's some more thoughts
control.
on
That's Babylon. That's holds us back.
So we will move on to the,
That's lower chakras.
I think this image, interestingly enough, is like some AI generated art. So some of these look pretty good, some of them look terrible. But anyway, here we go. Each personality is to the ego, and again, ego, he uses it synonymous with soul. So not the ego of psychology, but the soul.
Okay.
Each personality is to the ego what the solar system is to the logos. And again,
Oh, I
the
remember
logos
this.
in this sense is kind of the indwelling entity of the solar system. The solar system is the body, and logos is the animating spirit of life.
Yoga here, guys.
It is his field of manifestation and the method whereby he attains a demonstrable objective. That aim may be the acquirement of virtue by paying the price of vice. It may be the attainment of business acumen by the struggle to provide the necessities of life. It may be the development of sensitiveness by the revealing cruelties of nature. It may be the building in of unselfish devotion by the appeal of needy dependence, or it may be the transmutation of desire by the method of meditation on the path.
This
for
has
each
me
soul
like
to find
helping my hips heal. So
What I want to impress upon you is the fact that there is
that's
a
what I'm
certain
doing.
danger.
But also, it's tied to like Kundalini energy, probably
If for
yoga,
instance, a requirement of the
all
mental
that stuff. You know,
capacity
but I'm
to
just stretching out and stuff.
the student
Oh,
misses the very thing
I find it so
came into the
fascinating.
physical body to acquire. And the result is not much of a gain as an unequal development and a temporary loss of time. Let us be specific and illustrate. An ego has formed his threefold body of manifestation and set his ring past knot within the purpose of building into his causal body the faculty of mental apprehension of the basic facts of life. So the ring past knot is basically, as I understand it, a sort of circumscribed boundary of consciousness where you limit yourself. You know, the soul incarnates and limits its potential to this ring past knot, this sort of boundary. You know, you can think about it as a national border. Like, this is Italy, this is America. And the goal is to, in pushing that boundary, to develop one's consciousness, basically.
I love it. I love
The object of that incarnation is to develop the mental capacity of the student and to teach him concrete facts and science, and thus to enlarge the content of his mental body, with a view of future work. He may be overdeveloped on the heart side, too much of the devotee. He may have spent many lives in dreaming dreams and seeing visions in mystic
I wonder if Alice
meditation.
Bailey
To
knew
be
about
practical,
chakras.
full of common sense, to know the curriculum of the halls of learning, and to apply
Put that on the old
practically the
paper.
knowledge learned on the physical plane is his great need. Yet even though his ring pass knot seems to prescribe and limit his inherent tendencies, and even though the stage is set so that it would seem he must learn the lessons of practical living in the world, he learns not, but follows what is to him the line of least resistance. He dreams his dreams and stays aloof from world affairs. He does not fulfill the desired ego, but misses opportunity. He suffers much in the next stage and in the next life is necessitated a similar staging and a stronger urge, and a closer ring pass knot until he complies with the will of the ego. So this is a pretty interesting example. People develop capacities in past lives, and then they become attached to living in that kind of consciousness. Another example might be somebody who's very intellectual and bookish, but they don't want to get out and put things into practice and be active. And so it's incumbent on each of us to determine what talents and capacities are we meant to develop in this life, and what are things that we've already developed and that we don't need to focus on as much.
Yeah, I really
He
feel
continues
that.
on. For such
I'll
and
make this
one,
quick.
meditation helps not, but
I think I might go through this whole thing since I'm just sitting here like doing my stretches. I don't want to show you anything. Okay. Anyways, pardon me. Okay. So I really feel this drive. I always want to do things that are really hard because I want to like complete myself, like, oh, I really suck at math. Okay, I want to study math. And it's, and I really suck. Like right now, I really suck at like, and it's kind of funny because the universe is like placed me in positions I have no choice. So the universe is like forcing me, and it's scary. But it's also good. It keeps me away from depression. Keeps me away from addictions because I have to like focus all my energies. If I don't, I have to go back, have to repeat the cycle, and basically, like, I suck at directions, guys. I'm so bad. I'm so like not grounded. You know what I'm saying? Like so not grounded. I'm a lot better than I was because I've had some healing experiences with the root chakra. I literally had this really powerful root chakra experience, which I'm not going to really go into now, but you can ask me questions if you want curious. Maybe I'll talk more about it to the public. But I got a job as a truck driver, and we drive around these fields, and it's confusing. Everything looks the same to me. So I really have to like work on grounding it because it's like I have to because some of the guys there just know this stuff. It blows my mind. So I got to learn how to do what they can do naturally, or they've learned through years and years of experience. You know what I'm saying? You know how some people just naturally know where they are. And some people like they're like they walk in a room and they're like, "Who the hell am I?" That's I'm that guy. But I'm learning how to. It's been really fun because I can feel it in my root chakra and stuff. And I also find it interesting because like when I go to churches, I always get confused in churches. And that kind of to me represents my, some of my conflict with institutions, with the Lord's true church. How's the Lord's true church when it pisses me off so much? And it's funny because my soul tells me it's the true church. So I've got to like I got to go with that, right? It's part of where my root is. And the Lord showed me how it works because it's a tree and we're all on different branches. So like your soul will tell you that your church is the true church, maybe, or whatever, you got to stay with that because you're on that branch. But eventually those branches can merge. You can merge into my church, I can merge into your church, and we can have those feelings that your church is just as true as mine, or whatever. I mean, I don't know. That's why I love the phrase "best sacred guest" because also it makes it so it's not so like dogmatic. Like I got to stab you if you don't believe me. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. The Lord is Sabaoth. I must murder everybody. It's not murder; it's killing because the Lord demands it. Must wipe out the tribes of the Zedebites. because they are the unpure, whatever the crap, you know. It's like just look at you like, what the fuck? The Lord demanded I have to do it. Like, no, dude, fuck, common sense demands you shut the fudge up and get over there. What you're bitching, you know? I don't know. Anyways, all right, let's get back into this.
mainly hinders. As before, I have said meditation to be wisely undertaken is for those who have reached a point of evolution where the rounding out of the causal body is somewhat matured and where the student is in one of the final grades of the halls of learning. So the causal body
Sorry.
is kind of like the soul body. It's this vehicle on a certain level of the mental plane that's been built up with all the kind of the essence of the experience from different incarnations. You need to remember that I refer here not to mystical meditation, but to the scientifically occult meditation. The dangers are therefore practically those of wasted time and of intensification of vibration out of ill proportion to the key of other vibrations, and of an unequal rounding out and a lopsided building that will necessitate reconstruction in other lives. So if you imagine that calls a body as an egg or a sphere, if you develop one capacity too strongly, it's poking out of this side. Where the goal is for it to be more or less round.
Complete.
And this is a symbol that some people might find useful in considering. But if you develop any one of your qualities too far out, then it creates an imbalance, and the other qualities need to be
I like that. Yeah.
Reorganized.
Yeah.
Like, if you focus too much on the head, you'll have to focus a lot on developing the heart to round it out. And if you focus too much on the heart at the expense of the head, then the reverse happens. Next up,
classic logic versus feeling. I know all this stuff, but I have no feeling or no wisdom on how to use it. You're like just a pain in the butt, Like that guy at school is always like, oh, ho, 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 ho. Everybody wants to punch in the face.
we have dealt with the causal body and its relationship to the personality or the lower self, showing the interplay between the two and their interdependence. It's so funny how, in some ways, he makes things very clear to understand, and then in other times he's talking about not the not self, right? It's just kind of interesting and funny. Through steady application of occult meditation and through gradual stilling of the lower mind, through the concentration and the wise following of the egoic ray meditation, balanced by the personality ray meditation, we found that the relationship of the causal body to the personality became ever closer, and the channel connecting the two became ever more clear and adequate. This resulted eventually, we saw, in the shifting of polarization from the lower to the higher, and later to complete emancipation from both. Centralization ensuing then in the spiritual consciousness. We dealt with the matter from the lower point of view, seeing it from the standpoint of man in the three worlds. And again, so there's a personality consciousness, there's the soul consciousness, and then above that there's the true spiritual consciousness. So it's sort of like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The Father, the Son, and the form represents the Holy Ghost. Today, we deal with the matter from the standpoint of the higher self, from the egoic level, and consider the relationship of that self to the hierarchy, to surrounding egos, and to the spirit. It will be difficult to do more than give a few hints, for much that I could say would be little comprehended, and much be too occult and dangerous for general communication. 3 things may be imparted, which when wisely meditated upon, may lead to illumination. The ego on its own plane realizes consciously its relationship to the master and seeks to transmit that consciousness to the personality. The higher self on its own plane is not trammeled by time and space, and, knowing the future as well as that which is past, seeks to bring the desired end nearer and make it more rapidly a fact. The higher self or the ego on its own plane has direct relationship with other egos on the same ray and on a corresponding concrete or abstract ray, and realizing that progress is made in group formation, works on that plane with the helping of his kind. These facts are already apprehended among students, but by a slight elaboration, I may make it clearer. So I think most of that's pretty self-explanatory. And those are the quotes for this week on the topic of developing consciousness. I'd be interested if anybody have any further thoughts, insights, or questions, just put them in the chat or the comments. But I will move on to the guided meditation now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm glad.
So this meditation is going to be about exploring your own consciousness and seeing it from a different angle and where you're currently at and seeing some things about yourself that maybe you weren't aware of before. So that's the aim of it. And I'm going to share this image for the background here. But take a moment to relax and open your mind up to seeing new possibilities. And allow anything that's holding you back to fade away. And we're going to be exploring a wooded area with different features. And we're going to encounter three guardians of your consciousness. They're each going to have something to share or impart to you. But they won't give you anything you're not ready for. So firstly, we're walking up a path that leads up to a cabin in the woods atop a hill. In the cabin, there are some notices. And we take the first notice, and it says, seek out the one who holds a key to your past. And you ponder on this, and you have a sense of direction. And you begin walking in that direction. And you seek out in whatever area comes to you, the first guardian. And when you find him, wherever it is, behind a tree in a cave, maybe hidden in the ground that you have to dig up, take a note of what he looks like, he or she. And the guardian speaks to you, and he tells you of the tendency that's your greatest flaw, or what is misaligned or overdeveloped in you from the past. And listen to what he has to say on this to you, he or she. Now, armed with that knowledge, hike back up or down to the cabin with the notice board and find the second notice. The second notice is to seek out the guardian who has something to impart to you about your current consciousness. And go in whatever direction, to whatever place you feel directed. Seek out that second guardian. And you come onto the place where you meet the second guardian. And the second guardian reveals to you some aspect of your consciousness currently that you weren't aware of, some facet of yourself, or maybe your soul that you were not clear on until now. It could be good or bad. But take a note of what the guardian looks like and listen to what the guardian has to say.
My body's hurting so much it's hard to focus, but kind of like I like the meditation. I think it's cool.
Armed with that knowledge, slowly come back, work your way back to
It's
the
such the weirdest
cabin
movement.
on the hill.
The way I'm acting, I'm sorry.
And there's a notice that wasn't there before, but now it appears. And it's a notice about your future potential or capacity. And it tells you to seek out the third guardian, the guardian of the future, which has wisdom or insight about a quality that you could develop or that needs to be developed more in you, or some capacity you can attain.
More what?
Perhaps very far in the distant future, perhaps not too far in the distant future.
Oh,
And so you feel yourself being perhaps very far in the distant future, perhaps not too far, or that needs to be developed more in you, or some capacity you can attain.
more what?
Developed more in you, or some capacity you can attain. Perhaps very far in the distant future, perhaps not too far in the distant future.
Bro. Okay. My son always says bro. He's teaching me the Gen Alpha. Okay. Gen Alpha sayings that is. I want to work on like freaking not being more grounded, you know? And it's really cool because I had a really painful experience where I had a coworker like lose his crap on me last week. Told me to get it together and really, you know, things that would really hurt my feelings. And but I was able to uh walk through that, if you will. And you know, it was intense, of course, but I was able to walk through that and you know, feel the sorrow, feel the whatever feelings, because that's you know, obviously sad to hear that, but not be like angry. I mean, there was some anger there, of course, and some resentment. Like, but I was able to walk through that and stay meek through the whole thing. So I actually was able to learn the lesson, and it's like beautiful because I tend to get, you know, I react too much, and I can never learn these lessons. So I'm always like so defensive, you know. So I can't really progress. And it was really cool because he showed me 3 ways to progress as far as my lack of direction. Because this is what was pissing off my coworkers. I keep getting lost. And he's just a high stress guy, you know, because he's trying to get the job done. He's freaking out. I'm kind of slow, so I'm, you know, he, you know, of course, it's just how difficult. He has a lot more experience than I do, so he knows what he's doing better. But he just rushes so much; it's hard. But anyways, and of course, I naturally struggle with directions and all that, getting lost easily. But I saw 3 things I can do. One thing was to put a pin in it. I use my Google Maps. I'll pin the key locations no matter what's going on. He's like, let's go. Hold on. Put that effing pin in it, and I'll stand up for, I'll cuss, you know, yell at him if I have to. Hold on, let me put the pin in it. Otherwise, I'll get lost. And he gets that. So you have to like match their anger or match their, not anger, it's just match their energy, right? You know, with aggressive people or loud people. You know what I'm saying? So put a pin in it. That was the first thing. Second thing was, well, and I'm feeling like I don't need to share this because you don't. It doesn't matter to you who's watching this. So yeah. Anyways, there's 2 other things that I'm. So this is cool. I'm actually. So this is cool because I want to freaking master this crap. You know, I want the best I can. You know, I want to kick ass, and I believe anything's possible. It's probably be differently projects. So I'm being differently on it. You know what I'm saying? And I actually look forward to working with him next week. Because he's tough. He's a mean old son of a bitch. Don't get me wrong. He's a good guy too. After work, he's chill. You know, we actually chill, but during work, he's so stressed out. It's like, oh, it makes me go like, oh, I forget what I'm doing, and then I suck. And I'm like, dude, chill out, please. So, anyways, it's been quite the experience. But, anyways, yeah. So I like this part of the meditation.
And so you feel yourself being lifted up and a pathway into the air slowly becomes visible to you. And you walk one step at a time up closer to the sky.
All right on.
And as you walk up this path and along this path, eventually the third guardian begins to become apparent to you. And take note of what the third guardian appears to you as.
Mean.
And the third guardian holds out his or her hand, and a vision appears to you. Vision about your future potential. See what that vision is for you.
He's like a mean guardian, but he didn't change the stern. Just don't mess with him, you know. He's like a tough guy. And the vision, I see like kind of like just some different colors. It's like a ball opens up, and there's like some like a tree and some rainbows coming out. He's kind of smiling. It looks like someone. Oh, this kind of like my brother. He's like, but he's not goofy. Like, I don't want to mess with him. He'll kick my butt, you know.
And the third guardian closes his hand. The vision ends.
Nice.
And he bids you farewell. And you're given the knowledge that you're going to be slowly floating back down to the earth as you do. And you become tired. You take a rest, and you assimilate the knowledge that you've received.
Nice.
And upon waking, it's been grounded in your mind.
Oh, I like it.
So that
I
it
love
may
it.
become useful.
Yes. I love it. Get in the subconscious, and it's like freaking does wonders. Imagination space, heals, rewire the scripts, get in the subconscious, and
And
it's
then we
like
finish with the guided meditation.
the
You
Matrix.
come back to your normal consciousness. I hope that was useful to everybody. And
Very
I'd
useful,
be
Joshua. I
interested
love
what
you, man. Thank
results
you.
anybody had. That'd be really interesting to hear.
Hope
And
I
think
didn't upset you
other
with
people
my
would find it
craziness.
valuable
You
to
watch
hear
this.
the insight.
I really do, guys. Joshua is amazing. All
But
respect to Joshua.
if you made it this far, please leave a like on the
Appreciate him.
video. Consider sharing with somebody that might get value out of it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. But till then, this is Joshua's
Big like
Magic.
for Joshua.
Over.
Thank you,
and out.
Joshua.
And may the force be with everyone.
I will say thank you, Joshua. Whoops. Guys, you need to check out Joshua. I hope he gets, well, he does get some traction. I hope we get more people coming to him. I don't got much people coming to me, so, you know. But seriously, he's amazing. $95 subscribers. All right. Doing good, Joshua. You just keep going. That's all you can do, guys. So I call this like, this is like expressing our gift, our world building. We all have our piece to give to this puzzle as we're building this new consciousness, you know, and Joshua was talking about your Alice Bailey. So start expressing yourself, start sharing invitations, share, you know, if your heart's telling you to share, get out there and do it. We can start learning from you and so forth. Start building Zion, building this, you know, collective being, and we can start to like create new elements and stuff. Like, you know, turn into water. I'm a hydrogen. There's a hydrogen over there. There's oxygen, and boom, now we're water. We're totally like fluid and like, you know, we're liquid, no longer a gas. I mean, it's freaking gangster, man. That's all I can say. The world is freaking, the universe is freaking gangsta. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Remember to be differently. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.